So I provided you with both master plans for the water and the wastewater system. Could you give me a brief description, about 30 seconds for each?
Alright, here's a summary of each master plan. First up, the Wastewater Master Plan. It outlines a three-phase approach to address Palm Bay's wastewater needs. In Phase 1, they'll evaluate the system and make improvements, including upgrades to old equipment and addressing any overflows. Phase 2 is about expansion, with things like exploring alternative water sources and potentially expanding the water reclamation facility. The third phase focuses on the financial side, figuring out how to pay for everything and creating a plan for long-term funding. Now for the Water Master Plan. It has similar goals, but focuses on the city's water supply. It also has a three-phase approach, starting with system evaluation and improvements like replacing aging pipes. Phase 2 is about expanding capacity by exploring alternative water sources. The third phase, just like in the wastewater plan, is about securing funding and long-term financial sustainability.
Oh, that's great, thank you. So let's talk about the wastewater master plan first. What is the biggest challenge facing the city's wastewater system in the next 5 years?
So from what I could find in the Wastewater Master Plan, the biggest challenge facing Palm Bay's wastewater system in the next 5 years is capacity. With the city continuing to grow, the existing system may struggle to handle the increased volume, especially during peak usage times. This could lead to overflows and other issues. The plan emphasizes the need to evaluate the system's capacity and make necessary improvements or expansions.
How will the wastewater master plan address the pollution of the Indian River Lagoon?
The Wastewater Master Plan addresses pollution in the Indian River Lagoon in several ways. First, it calls for regular inspections and maintenance of the wastewater collection system to identify and repair any leaks or overflows that could release untreated wastewater into the lagoon. Second, the plan focuses on upgrading the city's wastewater treatment facilities to improve the quality of the treated water that's released into the lagoon. Finally, the plan emphasizes exploring alternative water sources to reduce the amount of water that needs to be treated and discharged. This could help reduce the overall impact on the lagoon.
What's the estimated cost of the wastewater master plan and how will it be funded?
The Wastewater Master Plan estimates the total cost to be around $35 million. To fund this project, they're considering a few options. One is increasing wastewater rates for residents and businesses. Another option is using grants from state or federal governments specifically for water and wastewater infrastructure improvements. They might also issue bonds, which are essentially loans that the city would have to pay back with interest over time. It's important to note that the plan emphasizes a phased approach, so not all of the projects will be implemented at once. This allows for flexibility in the funding and implementation timeline.
So for those of us still on septic systems, how will this plan impact the residents who are currently using septic systems?
For residents currently using septic systems, the Wastewater Master Plan aims to provide a long-term solution. The plan includes provisions for phasing in sewer connections to areas that are currently served by septic systems. This transition will be done gradually and with financial assistance programs to help homeowners cover the connection costs. In addition to phasing in sewer connections, the plan emphasizes septic system education and maintenance programs. They'll provide resources and support to septic system owners to ensure proper operation and reduce the risk of contamination. It's important to note that the specific timeline for transitioning from septic to sewer will vary depending on factors like population growth, available funding, and the condition of the existing septic systems. The plan emphasizes a collaborative approach with the community to develop a fair and equitable transition process.
What are the long-term goals of the wastewater master plan and how will they benefit the residents?
The Wastewater Master Plan has several long-term goals that will benefit Palm Bay residents. First, it aims to improve water quality in the Indian River Lagoon by reducing pollution from wastewater discharges. This will have a positive impact on the health of the lagoon and the surrounding ecosystem. Second, the plan focuses on ensuring the reliability and sustainability of the wastewater system to meet the needs of a growing population. This means residents can expect consistent wastewater services without disruptions. Finally, the plan prioritizes financial sustainability through responsible budgeting and exploring funding opportunities. This helps keep wastewater rates affordable for residents while maintaining a high-quality system. Overall, the Wastewater Master Plan aims to create a cleaner environment, reliable wastewater services, and long-term affordability for Palm Bay residents.
That's awesome. You did a great job at breaking down the wastewater master plan into easy to understand terms. So let's move on to the water master plan. What are the most critical water infrastructure needs in Palm Bay over the next 20 years?
Based on the Water Master Plan, the most critical water infrastructure needs for Palm Bay over the next 20 years are increasing water supply reliability and improving water quality. The city's population and economic development are both expected to grow, which means higher demands on the water supply. The plan emphasizes the need to diversify water sources and invest in infrastructure to ensure a reliable supply for residents and businesses. On the other hand, water quality is also a major concern. The plan highlights the need to address issues like salt intrusion, aging infrastructure, and potential contamination. They'll focus on upgrading water treatment facilities and implementing water conservation measures.
How will the Water Master Plan ensure the reliable water supply for our residents, and especially during droughts and emergencies?
The Water Master Plan outlines several strategies to ensure a reliable water supply during droughts and emergencies. Here are some key points. Diversifying water sources. The plan emphasizes exploring and developing alternative water sources like reclaimed water or deep wells. This reduces reliance on a single water source and strengthens the overall water supply system. Water conservation. The plan promotes water conservation measures for both residents and businesses. This includes things like public education campaigns, promoting water-efficient landscaping, and potentially implementing tiered water rates to encourage responsible water use. Infrastructure improvements. The plan addresses the need to upgrade aging water infrastructure to reduce water loss through leaks. They'll also work on improving water storage capacity to handle fluctuations in demand and build reserves for emergencies. Emergency preparedness. The plan includes protocols for responding to water supply emergencies, like droughts or natural disasters. This involves things like coordinating with local agencies, activating water restrictions, and potentially transporting water to affected areas. Essentially, the Water Master Plan takes a proactive approach to water supply management, focusing on long-term sustainability and resilience.
What's the estimated cost of the Water Master Plan, and how will it impact the water rates?
The Water Master Plan estimates the total cost to be around $50 million. To fund this project, they're considering a few options. One is increasing water rates for residents and businesses. Another option is using grants from state or federal governments, specifically for water and wastewater infrastructure improvements. They might also issue bonds, which are essentially loans that the city would have to pay back with interest over time. It's important to note that the plan emphasizes a phased approach, so not all of the projects will be implemented at once. This allows for flexibility in the funding and implementation timeline.
I noticed as I was going through the Water Master Plan that we have some aging asbestos cement water lines. I know that's not good. So what will be the plan to address these?
According to the Water Master Plan, addressing aging asbestos cement water lines is a priority. Here's what it outlines. Inventory and assessment. They'll start by thoroughly identifying all the asbestos cement lines within the water distribution system. This helps them understand the scale of the issue. Prioritization. Not all lines will be replaced at once. They'll prioritize replacements based on factors like the line's age, condition, and proximity to critical areas like schools or hospitals. Phased replacement. To manage costs and minimize disruptions, asbestos cement line replacements will be done in phases over time. Public communication. Throughout the process, they'll keep the public informed about the plan, the reasons for replacements, and the expected timeline for different areas. It's important to note that while replacing asbestos cement lines is crucial, it's just one part of the larger plan to improve water infrastructure and ensure a reliable supply for residents.
So what about water conservation and reuse? How do they play into the Water Master Plan?
Conservation and reuse are major parts of the Water Master Plan. The plan emphasizes reducing water demand through things like public education campaigns, promoting water-efficient landscaping, and potentially offering incentives for using water-saving appliances. They'll also explore expanding reclaimed water use for things like irrigation and industrial processes, which helps reduce the demand on the drinking water supply.
Okay, well that pretty well covers both the master plans. As you were going through these, did you find anything interesting that our listeners should know about?
Yeah, a couple of things. First, the plans really emphasize replacing old infrastructure. There's a lot of aging pipes throughout the city. Some of them are asbestos cement, which can be a problem. They're prioritizing replacing those. Second, they're both focused on long-term sustainability. It's not just about fixing problems now, but setting the system up for success in the future. That means things like exploring alternative water sources, promoting water conservation, and being financially responsible. Finally, I think it's smart that they're taking a phased approach to the projects. They won't try to do everything at once. This makes it easier on taxpayers and reduces the chance of something going wrong.